His eyes, blinded and visionless, stare at the sun. The seeker's sight, receding from his heart, can find no more the light of eternity. He sees the beyond as an emptiness void of soul, and takes his night for a dark infinite.
Well, that's the dark titan. Blinded eyes, visionless. In other words, he cannot see even the sun because because the eyes are blinded and they're visionless. They have no vision, inner vision or anything. And the seeker's sight, the aspirant's sight, recedes from his heart, and therefore he cannot find anymore the light of eternity. He even sees the beyond as an emptiness void of soul, and takes his night for a dark infinite. It's very, very, very dark, isn't it, about this Titan?
And
And
Sri
of
Aurobindo has seen this titan.
course, he's fought with them. He's fought with all these people. Wait till we get into those worlds. My gosh. Sons of falsehood and the mother of evil. They are difficult, difficult passages.
The
But,
mother of evil.
the divine has to do all of those things because it's in our realm of existence. Up there, there is no evil. There is no consciousness of evil. There's no duality. There's no, everything is united totally in the supermind. Everything. But it'll be a long way, it'll be a long time till we get there. Because living in this, quote, reality of body, life, and mind, we're still not able to get to that first leap into the spiritual planes, which is the higher mind, which would not see our world in any way that we see it. Yeah. So we'll continue on. His nature,
His nature magnifies the unreal's blank and sees in naught the sole reality.
and that is the problem, that he sees in nothingness the sole reality, because that for him is his whole world. There is no light for the Titan. He's visionless, he's blind, he even has this, what do we call it, this seeker's sight, capital S, receding from his heart. So there's nothing in his heart anymore. He can't find the light of eternity. The beyond for him is an emptiness, empty of soul, emptiness void of soul. Almost a paradoxical statement. How can you have an emptiness empty of soul? But
Mm.
that's what Sri Aurobindo tells us, an emptiness void of soul. So his nature is magnifying this blank, this emptiness of the unreal. And therefore, it sees in non existence, nothingness, the sole reality. Now, here we go to the next page.
He would stamp his single figure on the world, obsess the world's rumors with his single name.
Ah, that's the power that he wants. That's the power that the Titan is looking for. He is looking for it to be so strong that he stamps his single figure on the world. And he wants to even obsess this din or clamor, that means rumors here, with his single name. I am Stalin. I am Hitler. I am Idi Amin. I am Mussolini. All of them wanted to stamp their single figure on the world, to be known as the great, but on the dark side, not the side of light. So we have to continue on because he's still going on about the Titan.
Have you seen any paintings by Hitler? Any of his artwork?
I did, yeah.
What did you think of it?
Average, not bad, but average. But
Yeah.
he was not granted admission into the fine arts school. They
Oh, he
rejected.
was.
They,
Oh,
re-
okay.
they rejected him. Okay.
His moments center the vast universe. He sees his little self as very God. His
Well,
little
there are two lines there, and they're all the same thing. His moments center the vast universe. He's in the middle of the universe. Himself is the center. And he sees his little self. Sri Aurobindo is very careful to give us this word little self, that the Titan sees his little self as very God. Where actually the Titan was a huge influence, a huge figure in the world. I mean, look at Hitler. Millions of people adoring him. Those huge crowds of average Germans. Because he brought something that was a possibility. It was a possibility of the unity of his nation. But he used it in the wrong way. So the little I, oh, we're getting to that now, right?
his little eye has swallowed the whole world. His ego has stretched into infinity.
So you see, we have two lines here, little self and little I. Sri Aurobindo is emphasizing that smallness of this Titan. He seems to be great, and yet he's nothing. That's what Sri Aurobindo is telling us. So, his ego has stretched into infinity, his little I, has swallowed the whole world. Next, his mind.
His mind, a beat in original nothingness, ciphers his thought on a slate of hourless time.
Oh, that's very interesting, yeah. The cipher is something um, that is a zero, actually, a non-entity.
Holds holds everything within it,
Yeah.
right?
There are so many different definitions for cipher, like codes or secret writings or unintelligible to all but those possessing a key. It's a cryptogram. So he is transposing his thought on a slate of hourless time. And he has to do that because that's the only way he can be and stay a Titan. So there's a lot more yet about the Titans, so we have to go on.
He builds on a mighty vacancy of soul, a huge philosophy of nothingness.
This is very important. Huh? So he's building on this emptiness of soul. And it's not just an emptiness of soul, but it's a mighty emptiness or unoccupied vacancy of soul. And it's a huge philosophy of nothingness. Now, there were many people who loved Nietzsche and said he was close to um, the supermind. But Mother and Sri Aurobindo said he was a hostile force. But you can read on Nietzsche. He says some powerful things. But just as I felt in that book of Peter Heath's Lives of Sri Aurobindo, it's tinged with subtle falsehoods everywhere. Manoj Das, who passed away and was a good friend of mine, wonderful man, beautiful voice, one of the most beautiful voices ever, speaking voice. He found 90 mistakes in the book, 90 falsehoods. So, he's built a huge philosophy of nothingness, which is what I feel about that book. Okay, carry on.
In him, Nirvana lives and speaks and acts, impossibly creating a universe.
So it's interesting because nirvana is a kind of extinction of the ego limitations, reaching. It's a liberated condition of the being. So he has twisted that, and nirvana is living in him, speaking and acting, and yet impossibly creating a universe. So it's a false universe. It's all total falsehood. So he'll continue again.
An eternal zero is his formless self, his spirit, the void, impersonal, absolute.
Well, that ends it now because Sri Aurobindo is going to tell us what we have to do. So we see that the eternal zero is the Titan's formless self. And his spirit is even the void, the empty, impersonal, absolute. Now, Sri Aurobindo warns us.
Take not that stride, O growing soul of man, cast not thyself into that night of God.
Uh, it's a strong, strong warning. Don't let this ego take over. You have a growing soul. Each of us have a growing soul. We must not cast that self into the night of God that the Titan casts himself. And then he gives us these beautiful lines. Oh,
The soul's suffering is not eternity's key, or ransom by sorrow, heaven's demand on life.
this is purely Christianity. The soul has to suffer. The soul has to ransom by sorrow heaven. But Sri Aurobindo does not agree with that at all. It is not the key to eternity. It is not something that heaven demands from us, this sorrow. So now he's going to tell us what we have to do.
O mortal, bear, but ask not for the stroke. Too soon will grief and anguish find thee out.
Yes, he tells us this anguish of suffering or pain, but there is also an aspect, mainly of the tantrics, but also of others, who invoke Mahakali to destroy the darkness in them. Sri Aurobindo does not recommend it. He says, bear, but don't ask for the stroke of Mahakali. Because too soon, if you do that, will grief and anguish find thee out. Now he's going to go further and tell us more. This is so important.
Too enormous is that venture for thy will. Only in limits can man's strength be safe. Yet is infinity thy spirit's goal. Its bliss is there behind the world's face of tears.
So positive. Huh? But he says that this uh, suffering of the soul is not the key to eternity. or even ransomed by sorrow, the demand of heaven on life. He so tells us to bear but not ask for the stroke, because grief and anguish will soon find us out. And then he says, too enormous is that venture for thy will, for our human will. And then he's going to tell us that only in limits can man's strength be safe. Yet is infinity thy spirit's goal. See? So he's cautioning us to go slowly, to progress towards the light slowly, by offering, by aspiration, by sincerity. These three key things are so important: by calm, by peace within. And then after that semicolon, he says, yet is infinity thy spirit's goal. So he doesn't want us to rush into things. He doesn't want that our ego becomes titanic. Titanic is a good word. And then he's going to tell us that this bliss of the world is behind the world's face of tears. Oh, we could go a little bit more, and then you can read everything.
A power is in thee that thou knowest not. Thou art a vessel of the imprisoned spark.
Well, yes, we know to a small degree that there is a power in us, because otherwise we wouldn't be on this path. But he's talking to humanity, he's talking to man now. And he says, a power is in thee that thou knowest not. Notice that Narad uses the formal phrases. He says, he doesn't say that you knowest not. He said that thou knowest not. And Narad's speech is from heaven, of course, but it's very interesting for us to look at it. And he uses old words, knowest, shutst, things like that. And it's very important to us to feel his divineness in a formal way. I mean, he talks to the queen like that also. So we'll continue on just a little bit, and then you can read everything.
It seeks relief from time's envelopment, and while thou shutst it in, the seal is pain. Bliss is the Godhead's crown, eternal, free, unburdened by life's blind mystery of pain. Pain is the signature of the ignorance, attesting the secret God denied by life. Until life finds him, pain can never end.
And there we are. But we're going to go next week into even more deeply into what Sri Aurobindo is telling us right now. Of course, the first thing he's telling us is bliss is the Godhead's crown. And Sri Aurobindo, in many places in his work, says that bliss is the whole reason for existence. Not truth, not love, but bliss, ananda. Interesting. Yeah? All the others can follow after, but bliss is the Godhead's crown. It's eternal and it's free. And he says to us in the essays on the Gita, the Godhead is all that is universe and all that is in the universe and all that is more than the universe. How beautiful. So, unburdened by life's blind mystery of pain, and in many places he talks to us about pain being the hammer that has to chisel us because it can't mold us. so easily. And then he says pain is the signature of the ignorance, because he himself, when pain came, he could turn it into ecstasy and delight. Any amount of pain. Broken leg, no problem. But the leg was broken, you know why, huh? Yeah, because he was protecting mother and not thinking of himself at that time. So pain attests the secret God that is denied by life. Because when we have pain, it can be mental, it can be physical, it can be vital. When we have that pain, then we actually attest, we bear witness to this secret God that life denies. And until life finds him, that is God, pain can never end. So if you'll read the whole thing back, you were recording, right? Good, good.
His eyes, blinded and visionless, stare at the sun, the seeker's sight receding from his heart, can find no more the light of eternity. He sees the beyond as an emptiness void of soul, and takes his night for a dark infinite. His nature magnifies the unreal's blank, and sees in naught the sole reality. He would stamp his single figure on the world, obsess the world's rumors with his single name. His moments center the vast universe. He sees his little self as very God. His little eye has swallowed the whole world. His ego has stretched into infinity. His mind, a beat in original nothingness, ciphers his thought on a slate of hourless time. He builds on a mighty vacancy of soul, a huge philosophy of nothingness. In him Nirvana lives and speaks and acts, impossibly creating a universe. An eternal zero is his formless self, his spirit the void impersonal absolute. Take not that stride, O growing soul of man, cast not thyself into that night of God. The soul suffering is not eternity's key, or ransom by sorrow heaven's demand on life. O mortal, bear, but ask not for the stroke. Too soon will grief and anguish find thee out. Too enormous is that venture for thy will. Only in limits can man's strength be safe. Yet is infinity thy spirit's goal. Its bliss is there behind the world's face of tears. A power is in thee that thou knowest not. Thou art a vessel of the imprisoned spark. It seeks relief from time's envelopment, and while thou shut'st it in, the seal is pain. Bliss is the Godhead's crown, eternal, free, unburdened by life's blind mystery of pain. Pain is the signature of the ignorance, attesting the secret God denied by life. Until life finds him, pain can never end.
Long passage.
Yeah,
You read it beautifully. You're
thank you.
getting better and better. The only thing I might suggest
Yes.
is just a little bit more inflection in things where he's saying, "O mortal bear, too soon the grief, too enormous," or "Cast not thyself, take not that stride." You see how you can zing that home to me?
Yes, yes, I can. I was trying to focus on the beat of it, and
Yeah,
so
and you're doing great. You're doing
okay.
great.
Yes, I will.
Okay,
I will practice the inflection too.
okay.
Yes. Thank you, Narad. Namaste. Thank you so much.